Let's hit the 24 teams. We've talked about this a lot, kind of ad nauseum, to tell you the truth. But there's been some more discussion of it post. I think we got the SEC meetings coming up next week. We've got the college football playoff meetings that were that took place, I guess, last week or 2 weeks ago. And so there's just been a lot more talk about this because, like, where are we going? There's still pretty much an open-ended question of, are we going to stay at 12? Are we going to 16? Are we going to 24? And to kind of set the stage as to where we were at, the SEC had been pushing back against a 2014 playoff, and the Big Ten and some others had been pushing for a 2014 playoff. We've been very vocal about it on this show. I saw a lot on Twitter. I saw Josh Pate pushing back against it and many others. Somebody was going after Pate about, I think if you polled college football fans that they would want to go to a 2014 playoff, and Pate shot back and said, I think you're crazy. I think if you polled 1,000 college football fans, you'd have a pretty high number, pretty high percentage saying, no, we do not at all want to go to 24 teams. So that's kind of where we're at. Give me a little bit of an update as to where the momentum's coming from, where the talk is coming from, and if you think we're going to end up at 24.
Right. So as you said, we're kind of beating a dead horse here. I don't want to spend a ton of time on it on tonight's show, but the latest news on this was coming from Ross Dellinger, of course. He's been all over this, and it's the American, I guess, voted and is voted to expand the playoff. So they are going to recommend to the college football leaders that the playoff be expanded. So what that means, similar to a lot of this, I guess I don't really know. I don't know what kind of power the American Football Coaches Association has. Obviously, they don't set the rules. However, they probably have some influence here, and they represent the coaches, and they are recommending an expanded playoff, which you brought up. I'm not a fan of. We're not a fan of. However, I kind of read it and thought, no duh. Like, we've already kind of made everything about the playoffs. Turns out the coaches want more seats at the table so they don't get fired every 3 years when they don't make a 12 team, right?
Yeah.
So obviously they want it. And, again, I think this just is another instance or example of somebody needs to actually be in charge, right? I'm sure there are a lot of things that NFL coaches would like to do that they are not able to do because Roger Goodell and the Players Association, and there are mechanisms to not allow certain things to happen for the betterment of the sport. And it's not that I think the coaches don't have the best interests of the sport, at least somewhere in their brain, I think they do, but that certainly comes behind numero uno guy looking in the mirror, aka me as a coach. They're trying to protect their own rear ends. Therefore, they're recommending we expand. So it's just kind of another domino, right? I mean, I feel like, again, we feel like this is kind of inevitable at this point, and this is just another indicator that our inclination is correct, because basically every entity that does have any say or seat at the table is saying we need to expand, really with the exception of the SEC and Greg Sankey, but even they are, willing or open at least to a 16 team. So, again, another domino. That's about all there is to it.
Yeah. I'm trying to remember and rack my brain if it was Kirby Smart or if it was another coach, but there was a coach recently, I think it was Kirby, who basically came out and said, like, I'm good with 12. Like, I think that 12 is good. Let's kind of see how it plays out. Kind of echoed a lot of what we have been saying on this show. Like, look, 12's good. Like, let's just see that people seem happy about it. They seem excited about it. And we've done this for 2 years. Like, why would we change it up now? And I can't remember. I think he made this point, and I've seen this point made elsewhere too, is that, do we really think that there are more than 6 to 8 teams each season that really have a legitimate shot at winning a national title? I don't really think that there are. Now, the argument against that is, to say like an 18 playoff or whatever, we're not going back. Okay. I get that. Toothpaste out of the tube, not going back. But the argument against that could be like a Miami this year, right? Miami doesn't get into an 18 playoff. They wouldn't have gotten into the 14 playoff. They didn't win the national title, but they got to the national title game. They made a run. And it was impressive. But do we think, I don't even think there are 12 teams each year that have a shot at winning a national title. So what are we doing doubling the size of the playoff and potentially having teams that are 8-4 getting into the playoff? Like, what are we talking about? They lost 4 games. We've talked about it ad nauseum. It really devalues the regular season, which was the crown jewel in a way of college football, was that every game in the regular season mattered so much. And we have devalued that a little bit, obviously with two lost teams getting in. But if we do this, like the regular season, it becomes the NFL. And I watch the NFL, but not like I watch college football. And there's a reason for that. Many reasons for that. But this was a big one, was that the regular season games mattered a ton.
Yeah, it would become the NFL. Like you said, you could go 8-4 and still get in. You could lose a third of your regular season games and still get in. Yeah. This will be the last thing I say on this before we move on. You bring up Miami or any other team, that gets left out of whatever playoff format that there is, whether it's 8, 12, 16, 24 teams. I just have no sympathy for that. Had Miami been left out this year for Notre Dame or anybody else, I would have maybe said that was unfair or not how I would have done it. But again, who was it? Who got left on the doorstep this year? And was it Kalani Sitake of BYU? Anyway,
yeah,
you can always just look in the mirror. Like, even let's play that hypothetical out. Yeah. Miami doesn't get in this year for whatever reason. Okay, well, guess what? We shouldn't have lost 2 games. We shouldn't have lost to SMU, who's not ranked. We shouldn't have lost to Louisville, who's not ranked. Like, it's that simple. Whether or not you have the capability or the potential to win a national title, to me, doesn't really matter, right? I don't necessarily care about how good you could be. Did you earn it or did you not? And, that is a whole different conversation, because there's committees and there's this and there's that. But I don't have any sympathy, especially when you're getting past 12, for a team to say, oh, well, like Texas, for instance. It's like, could they have won it? I mean, I don't know. They were playing good at the end of the year. Did they deserve to get in? No, they lost 3 games. So that's the way I look at it. Is I'm less concerned with who could possibly win and making sure that they have an opportunity, and who's earned it and who's won the games that they need to win to put themselves in position to compete for a title, as opposed to just, well, who's capable, who could maybe do it if they play right.